guys, and happy Saturday. We have had, don't want to fall down the stairs. We've had a really relaxing morning. We have got very little done, but now it's Saturday afternoon. The weather is reasonable. So Chris is out in the garden trying to sort out a fence panel, and I'm just kind of hanging around the house, trying to be productive, but equally trying not to do too much because I'm really achy today. I'm not too tired, don't feel particularly sleepy. My bump really aches. Chris has been out there for a little bit already. His first goal is to get this fence panel put up. It should have been so easy. Okay, to drill some holes to put these bolts in so that this post could be attached into the ground and then the fence post just goes straight in the top. But this happened. The bit snapped off in the concrete in the ground. Now it's turned into a much bigger job with some serious power tools.
Power tools.
Or just brute force, as the case may be. This morning, Shep decided to make a mound of toys. I don't know if you can see them all under here. Like that. He has slowly, over the course of the day, collected every toy he owns and put it into a big pile over here that I'm apparently not allowed to touch. Give us that. But, Shep, we need to tidy your toys up, don't we? Because these are a little bit messy. Putting Shep's toys away basically just means putting them in a pile on top of his bed. But let's see how long it takes for him to get them all back out again. At the moment, I've left him one toy. He's allowed this ball, eh? But all the ropes have gone away. The moment he's happy, but it won't be long before that ball ends up under there. I am going to quickly change out, oh, there we go, this picture here, which is one of our wedding photos, for this one, which we took last year, of us holding a wedding picture, so that in the next couple of days we can take a third photograph of us holding this picture, holding the wedding photo. I'm hoping it's the sort of thing that we might be able to continue over the next couple of years, and hopefully then end up with one photograph which is kind of like an evolution of us and our family since we've got married, and then like each year onwards. If we can keep it up, it's going to be really cool. Unfortunately, I've noticed that the picture has already started to lose quite a lot of quality. Quite a lot of the detail like in the faces on our wedding photo. And it's now the end of April, and our wedding anniversary is the middle of April, so we're already 2 weeks behind. So we really need to take this photograph before this one comes, ruins my plans for this year. And we are all ready to take this year's portrait. I think it actually looks pretty good. I'm quite happy with that. I think this year I need to be really on the ball though, because in the past I've delayed having the photograph printed until we need to take the photograph. So this year, although this one's only been printed for like a week or so, I'm going to get the photograph taken hopefully in the next couple of days, and then I'm going to take that photograph instantly to the Photoshop and get them to print it out again for me so that we can enjoy the photograph for the full year before we need to take the following year's photo. Looks really good so far. Chris cannot possibly be seen on camera right now because he is basically completely worn out from doing the garden stuff. It has been a huge job compared to what it was supposed to be.
I haven't finished.
And you haven't finished.
I don't know where I'm up to.
Okay, I'll give you an update in one moment. No, I'll give you an update now. Come with me, I will show you. Come with me. There's a big hole, and there's what used to be a fence post, which is now stuck in the hole, and he's having a lot of trouble trying to dig that out. So while he recovers from his latest, like, exertion, that's the word, I'm gonna go to the supermarket and pick us up some food for tea. That is a much better use of my time than basically watching Chris.
This town's so lame, I'm feeling so wired. It's 4 AM, I'm not even tired. We're in your car.
The biggest problem that Chris and I have with sharing a car is that we are wildly different heights. So every time one of us gets in the car and the other person's been driving, you've got to spend like the first 5 minutes adjusting the seat, changing the mirrors, moving the steering wheel. Okay, so I don't generally bother to move the steering wheel, but all the rest of it is a real pain. When we bought our current car, one of the options on it was that we could get like power seating or something, which basically meant there's 2 users for the car, and when you open the car with your key, all of the seats and the mirrors and everything move into your position. And so we can have 2 different people and the seats would all change perfectly for each of us. And we were like, no, that sounds like a gimmick. We definitely don't need that. It's just a waste of money. And it's the one thing we really, really, really should have spec'd on this car. It would make life so much easier. Especially when your bump takes up half the space between the seat back and the steering wheel, and you've got to start bending over trying to reach the adjustment handles and stuff. I did end up buying too much in the supermarket. Evidence here. That includes everything we need for the week, well, in a couple of days, and a whole bunch of snacks too. But I felt like, because I had a trolley, I was kind of like taking up loads of space in the queue waiting to go and see the checkout. So I offered to the kids behind me, if they wanted to go ahead, they could. They had like a can of Coke each and some sweets, and that was absolutely it. So I said to them, do you want to go first? And they're like, no, it's okay, it's okay. It's like, no, really, you've got like 2 items, it's fine, you can go ahead of me. And they were the loveliest boys I think I've spoken to in ages. They were so beautifully spoken, really lovely, and they refused to go ahead. So I tried to be as fast as I could with my shopping and my paying to kind of get out of the way, because then I felt really guilty. But I've never ever had anybody reject an offer to go ahead of me in a queue before. These kids here, these are the ones. Time for round 2 of my shopping trip to go and buy the branded items I can't buy in Lidl. And there suddenly seems to be a lot of people wearing Leicester Tigers rugby shirts. One thing I've been so shocked about in the shops today is how many items are available that are all kind of like clustered around our due date. Even the bread we've bought, the date on it I think is the 4th of May. The 5th. Go with the 5th of May. So exciting. How on earth are we going to have bread in the house that will go off like around about the time that Pip's due? We're now done. I've made 2 supermarket visits, and we're now on the way home. On a side note, you've seen this mirror here. It's so exciting. I love having the car seat in the back of the car. It's really kind of like made my day the last couple of times we've been out. But it's so much better when I'm driving, because in my rear view mirror, which is just kind of here, I can see the car seat, and now the mirror's in above it, I can see the car seat in the mirror. Kind of like catches my eye every now and again, and I love it. I now feel so incredibly guilty. I just called Chris to come and help me with the bags from shops because they're too heavy and I really don't want to carry them all the way back to the house. But as I picked the phone up, I heard him like panting and huffing and stuff. He's in the middle of doing the stuff in the garden. He sounds absolutely exhausted. And I technically could carry these bags. I just don't think I should. Feel so guilty. Looks like he was super hard at work. Chris is making us curry for dinner tonight and it smells amazing. Every time I come into the kitchen, the smell is getting better and better. One thing I thought was really cool in the car earlier was that sitting down to drive was nowhere near as uncomfortable as it was earlier in the week or even in previous weeks. And because I think up until this point, or up until just now, I found that when I've been sitting down, particularly in the car, sometimes like hit and miss on the sofa as well, there's like a pressure kind of here at the top of my bump, like leaning into my ribs, and it can be really, really uncomfortable, almost on the verge of pain. But today that didn't happen, and I only realised when I was in the car that I didn't feel it. I'm really, really hoping that means that Pip might have dropped a little bit further and we're like seriously on the way now. That would be so awesome if it's true. I don't know. I had Chris have a look like at me in profile and he says he can't tell at all. From the things I've been reading, if he has dropped, then there's a good chance that I'll be needing the toilet a lot more often. So at least we should be able to tell. I don't know, it'd be really cool if he has. Although I don't know if it actually means anything. I don't think you can say something like, oh, well, he's dropped, so he'll be here in a week or anything like that. I think I'm particularly kind of like excited, a little bit tense and on edge, because one of our NCT group, their baby arrived yesterday, I think it was, possibly even the day before. And they're not due until the day before we are, so she was a week early. And, oh, but she was a little girl, and girls are supposed to be much earlier than boys, and I bet you our boy hangs on for dear life and doesn't come when we want him to. The realisation that she came as early as she did has kind of made me go, ooh, like he really could come at any time, and we really should be ready for him to come at any time. One other thing I've been finding today is that I seem to keep hitting my bump into things, and this hasn't happened at all to me throughout being pregnant. No matter how much I've changed, generally it's only door handles that are causing me problems, and even then it's not been that often. But today it seems to be everything. And I don't know if it's like me being clumsier than normal, or if it is that my bumps maybe changed, it's grown particularly in the last 24 hours. I've kind of not got used to it. Possibly it is the fact that if it has dropped, maybe it's sticking out further in other orientations that I'm used to, and that's what's causing my problem. Really not sure. But it's really strange, and I really don't like it because it's making me quite conscious of it, of my bump and hurting myself and poking things too hard into Pip. It's really quite scary. I'm gonna have to learn to be a lot more careful in the next week until he comes.
This time